Senator Merkley is here. Good to see you again. Thanks for coming on the program.
It's great to be with you.
Nice to see you as well. Thanks for coming by. I know you're busy these days, but I want to start with the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Okay, that's tough to get out sometimes. The Senate will be taking up the budget reconciliation bill. Is there anything in the bill that you at this point would support?
Oh, there's very little in this bill to support. What this bill does is millions would lose health care to support greater tax breaks for the richest Americans, for mega millionaires and billionaires, and millions of children would lose nutrition support. They'll go hungry to support tax breaks for billionaires. And it runs up the debt massively. So I think this is a huge mistake. I mean, Trump campaigned on helping families, so this is a real betrayal, and I hope Republicans will join us in killing this bill.
Now, President Trump says the bill will result in the lowest tax rate ever in the history of this country, with a big benefit to low and middle income people. I'm sure there's some folks out there saying, well, that's pretty enticing. If I'm low middle income, what do you say to that?
Well, it's not true. At the end of the tax period, you will see the richest gain a lot of benefits, some $80,000 per person. And because of the increased costs of health care and other costs driven up by this bill, actually lower income folks come out behind, not ahead. So again, this is families lose, billionaires win.
Republicans say the bill does not cut Medicaid. It does target fraud, waste, and abuse. Your counter to that is what?
Well, that's just wrong. I mean, it's estimated that this bill will about 13 million people will lose health care. If you don't have health care insurance, what happens to your rural health care clinics? What happens to your rural hospitals? What happens to all those families that don't go in for treatment early because they don't have health insurance, and then the disease has a much more profound impact on them and their families? I mean, when 13 million people losing health care, that's not fraud, waste, and abuse. That's people suffering.
I want to have you listen to this. President Trump had this to say about Democrat opposition to the bill. Watch this.
We don't have one Democrat vote. And if I were a Democrat, I'd be voting for this bill, and I'd get elected to any position I want as a Democrat. They're crazy. They're voting for a 65% tax increase, and they're only doing it for hatred. They're not doing it for any reason. They know it's terrible. Terrible politics, in my opinion. But so we have no Democrat votes. That means we have to get almost all Republican votes, and I think we're very close to doing that. I think it'll be very successful.
Is he right about that? Will he get any support at all from your party?
No, no one will support it. It's that bad of bill. And we have a better plan. Families win and billionaires pay their fair share of taxes. That's a much better deal for America's families, much better deal for America's children.
What is the Democratic strategy right now without the majority in the Senate?
Well, the strategy is to convince our Republican colleagues to join us in opposition, because this is a special type of bill that is a simple majority. And so in the Senate, you've got 53 Republicans. If 4 Republicans join us in saying hell no to hurting children and stripping health care from millions of Americans, then we'll be able to block this bill. And I tell you, a bunch of folks who campaigned as fiscal conservatives on the Republican side, they're showing they're not fiscal conservatives, because this bill increases the debt massively, some $52 trillion over 30 years. I mean, this is incredible when you realize our current debt is only a fraction of that.
Do you see a showdown happening here between the conservative moderates and the conservatives in this bill?
Well, there are individuals who have said that they will not support this with the current level of debt. And there are others who said they won't support it because of what it does to Medicaid. Realize that in the House and Senate, if you're from a redder area, you have more people in your district or in your state who are dependent upon Medicaid. And Medicaid just isn't about low-income families. It's also a major vehicle that supports veterans, to support those with disabilities, the major financer of health care for rural health care clinics and rural hospitals. So there's a lot of downside for my Republican colleagues, as there are on our side of the aisle, for the families who sent us to fight for them.